Hello everybody out there in Internetville, and welcome to the latest and greatest edition of Horrendous Anime Vlog, where we keep you, the internet viewer, up to date with the latest and greatest in the upcoming video game known as Horrendous Anime. A video game where a anime convention goes horrendously wrong. We're working on that tagline, but anyway, so it's been a little bit since the last update. The last one was pretty great. We finished the dialogue system, we meaning I finished the dialogue system, and pulled the tape off of the whiteboard. In case you don't know, there were 4 strips of tape that represented the 4 systems that had to be completed in order to, I guess, have a playable version of this game. So the 4 were dialogue, combat, props, and cutscenes. Now that list is down to 3, and next up is combat, because no game is good unless you can punch somebody and be rewarded for it somehow. So I decided to do just that and incorporate my own unique combat system into Horrendous Anime. We'll get into that later, but first I just want to say a quick word about why it has taken so long to get to this next video. I think I'll just show you. Yeah. It's really fun trying to find enough time to make a video game from scratch when you have to pay the subscription fee for life. It's bills. I love this game, but it does not generate income at this point, so if I want to continue to have electricity and a roof and whatever to make this game with, I have to do other things. And frankly, that eats up a lot of time. So, yes, I am begging for money, but we'll get to the details of that later. I just wanted to just get into the challenge of, like, you know, if you're making your own video game, pretty much nobody cares for the for the first the first line of code till question marks. Like, no, like it. I don't know when it happens, but eventually there's money. But that time is not now. More on that later. So enough about my problems. Let's get into that combat system, right? Okay. All right. So wait, hold on. That's not it. That's it. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. So here we are. Back at the prototype stage. That's right. All those cool little floating objects that you can interact with. Oh, let's go ahead and talk with the ghost in the shell. Oh, looks like we have met the requirements. Oh, man, I wonder what those requirements are. More on that later. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, we'll get to that. So yeah, pretty great so far. Well, what if we want to get into a fight? Yeah, check out. I want to emphasize this: the foundations of the combat system. All right, so we're going to go over here, and we are going to create a new combat timeline. Don't worry about what all this says. I will definitely be getting into that. Oh, what's that down there? Oh, flashy numbers. Oh, look how interesting. Oh man, we should totally do that again, but zoomed in, like as zoomed in as we can get. Let's go ahead. Yeah. Huh? I know, it doesn't look like much on the surface, but that is where this video series comes in, is because I can kind of let you know where it's going instead of just showing you some flashing numbers. So, but I do want to watch those numbers again. Oh man, that is... I love that. Hold on. Oh yeah. So, some of the more eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed that those flashes were kind of rhythmic, and that's because they are. So I'm going to scroll up here and zoom in on the console. to the basis of this combat system. So a long time ago, I had an idea, a little sketch for this like Banjo-Kazooie style game where you would do more damage if you did stuff on beat with the music that was playing, because music is awesome. So it's pretty much that. The game can now track tempo. Like, there is a way for the game to define how many milliseconds are in any given period of like a measure, a beat, a whole, a half, as long as you give the object a tempo as its constructor argument. It's seed. So, where do we go next? Yes, where do we go next? So, I'm going to do this again. Yes. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I have a better way to demonstrate this. Okay, let's go back to the code really quick. And let's take a look at where this timeline is sourced from. Like everything in this game, it is a object stored in a database somewhere. And that allows it to scale with, however many assets you want to include in the game, except, the game still stays small and lean. We've been over this before. Go watch the other videos, tell your friends, tell your enemies. So, in this game, there is a tempo to the battle music, of course. So, if you are doing things on beat with the battle music, it does stuff, but that would be so boring if it was just like, keep track, nobody wants to do that. So what I did instead is I instead of just tracking milliseconds, the game is now tracking eighth notes, quarter notes, whatever, and it's determining its intervals based on this object right here. So if I were to update this tempo right here to 156, saved it, came back here, reloaded, then we should get a much faster. Yes, as you can see, we get a much faster thingamajig. Conversely, if we were to slow it all the way down to 56, then very slow. And as you can see, there are windows to the rhythms.
Like 5 or 6 right now, my dude.
This may be going off the rails, I don't know, but the point is that the game can tell if you have hit a certain frame in a rhythm. Like this one right here. I'm just going to go down the data structure, and that sounds fun to me. Okay. So obviously we have the name of the timeline for, because JavaScript loves strings. We have, this is the count. This is when it ends. So this one would start at whatever we pass it as its initial number, usually -16. It will stop on 33. And it will do so by creating a tempo object, which you can see here on the right. Which can give you, the millisecond values of eighth notes, quarter notes, etc., etc. And this is the interval at which we are going to count. I don't know why that's still there. I think it could be useful for some kind of funny Easter egg at some point, maybe. But yeah, I like not to mess with things if they're working. And right here, 32. Oh, okay. Oh no, what? Okay, yeah. Okay, so like the rate right here, this corresponds to 30-second notes. So if I set that to 16 or 16 triplet or any of these over here, then that's like the rhythm it'd be counting at. So you can do certain enemies may require you to do little triplets. Some enemies may require you to do a kind of complex thingamajig, but it's all pretty easily writable right here. See, we just keep track of events, like on what frame are we going to do what. So on frame 1, frame 1, offset 1. We have this event, in this case an audio event. That's one of those things when you're programming something where you're thinking that's gonna be my day, or that's gonna be a few hours of work there. Anyway, on to this. So the window, this was inspired by Dance Dance Revolution because you could hit it perfect or you could hit it great, and great was like you kind of got it, you know, but you were off by just a little. Off by a little. So yeah, so in a future version of this, there's going to be a perfect condition. Like if you hit it perfect, then maybe you get a ×4 multiplier instead of a × 2, or you know, something like that. Something to incentivize, you know, hitting those beats on time. But again, I should also say that there is the option in the game, and in fact, this is how the combat system started, where you just hit the guy as fast as you can because it's tap based. Like you're tapping whatever you're tapping on this, you're just trying to get as many taps in a certain amount of time. So you can either go for super speed or you can go for rhythm, and maybe get a special item or some such. That's the beauty of having these just like individually addressable things in the database as the game's assets, is that you can just call them wherever, you know, as long as you make them correctly, you can just call them wherever and they appear. So I could, you know, call this audio or call like an item or something, you know, that's the way forward on that. But right now, let's watch that again. Oh yes, count for me. Yes, that is wonderful. So I want to talk a little bit about the coding of this because I did it in a major hurry. I think I did this code as I was going out the door. Hold on, let me get everything back here. Alright. So the way it works is there is a recursive function that calls itself at there we go. At the interval specified by the tempo of the whatever, it iterates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc., 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 etc. So obviously, like in this if-else, that is when the value that is passed to the interaction handler will change. Like if you're just tapping as fast as you can and you're not hitting on beat, then it will just pass note hit equals no. So like, no, you did not hit the note, so it will not give as many points. However, if it says you hit the note, you get more points. If you hit the note and the note was perfect, you get even more points. Hooray! Numbers, secret items. Oh my god, the possibilities are endless. Alright, well,
1 minute warning.
Let's see. I think that's about it for now for the combat system. Until the next, code-a-thon or however it is I do this. Yeah. Interact handler. That's next. And there we go. There was that function I was talking about. Alright. So we have a little bit of time left in this video. And if you're still watching, what's wrong with you? Let's go ahead and take a walk down memory lane. I'm talking back to frame 1, square one. That's right. Like, yeah. And I want to show you how this game looks and continues to look. Alright. I'm gonna go away for a second. Goodbye. Alright, so first up, game context. The entire game. The object. The horrid source. And here is a little fanfare for the game because I like that. So this is the fun part that nobody ever saw, and I never made a video about. The data system, the way it saves the data. That's right. If you like data, this is your video. So we always start save data with null, so that the conditional will fire to see, first what's in local storage, if anything. And there we already do, because this is my debug environment. And there it is. There's my local storage. We have our collectibles held, we have our conversations had, and our items. Those are the three core thingamajigs of the save data. There's probably going to be more, but these are the main things that drive conditionals that change the environment based on what you've done in other environments. Because interactivity is a lot of fun. Alright, so then, right here, we write that save data to the game context. And then it loads current environment. There we go. So then, there we go. There's that. We got the active scene, ton of stuff. So we can, sure, why not? Let's just go. All right, so this is where it gets kind of crazy. This is like the result of all the database calls, and this is everything that is in that could be in. It could be on the screen. Everybody, regardless of conditions met or whatever, they're in here, and then we check the conditions and load accordingly. So there we go. As we can see here, these are the database calls for all the involved thingamajigs, all sorts of stuff, things, doohickeys, even contraptions. It's pretty great. Like, where's Ghost in the Shell? Where is that wonderful dialogue character person here? So many things. No. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. There's Ghost in the Shell. Awesome. Okay, so there's the resulting environment. This was probably a holdover from the debug days when I had to see exactly what data was coming out the other end when I started passing parameters. And then an asynchronous thing begins where all the characters decide their dialogue. This is a monitor for all the objects. Seeing what's what, see what's loaded. All that wonderful stuff. We have the dialogue, of course. Ah, yes. We have not had any of those conversations. Very cool, very cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is what the progress of the game looked like to me before there were any anything you could actually see on screen. So now it's going into requirements met for thingamajigs. The debug on this is really rough because I think I was just powering through it trying to get to the other end. Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff, and and now we have our timeline stuff. So yeah, that's what it looks like under the hood.
I sure hope things turn out alright for you.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Horrendous Anime Vlog. Hope to see you next time. Until then, please just go ahead and go to your patio or balcony and start shouting obscenities, and then just pepper my project in there somewhere. I gotta get the name out somehow. Until next time, dear viewer, adios.